So, The Vampire Lestat episode 6 came out last week, and I would have made this review a little bit earlier, but my laptop got a virus, my phone broke, and I had to move out of my uni flat back home for the summer, so it's been a bit of a long week for me. And I just wanted to sit on this episode and see what people were saying before I fully committed to posting my thoughts about it. And as per usual, the things that I liked were Louis. I liked his presence in the episode. And it was nice to have a secondary protagonist that wasn't Gabriella for once. And that just felt really refreshing, and I really appreciated that. And all of the Lestat scenes were really sweet, and I thought were excellently written and excellently acted out. But this is where the show loses me for this episode, and I'm sure if you're seeing this video, you've seen all of the comments that people online have had in regards to the language that was used in this episode. And I obviously can't speak for who was in the writer's room in terms of whether or not they had the right to use that language within the context of the show. But I don't feel that it was necessary at all in terms of moving the plot forward. And I have noticed that there has been language like that this entire season, and at points in the show as a whole, but in this season in particular. And that's not to say that I thought that this scene was ineffective because of the language. Quite the opposite, but I don't think it needed it at all, which I think is proven by the books, because Claudia has very similar feelings towards Louis in there. I don't believe use language like that at all, and it still comes across very clearly. And in particular from Claudia to Louis as two mixed race characters, I think that using language like that to one another does just kind of reinforce stereotypes that are just not necessary on national TV nowadays. And the other main problem that I had with this episode, which I have been talking about for weeks now, is the lack of context in character interactions. And I really felt it this episode with Daniel and Armand in particular. It felt like the show had just fast forwarded to them being together, not necessarily romantically, but probably, and just skipped all of the stuff that the fans actually want to see. And this wasn't helped by the fact that I think that Lestat and Louis' relationship in this episode was portrayed really excellently, and I really enjoyed it. And they have a lot more more tender moments in this episode and in the last two seasons. And I genuinely felt invested in what was going on with those two, and that's great. But it just shocks me that no other characters get that treatment except maybe Lestat and Gabriella in this season. And it's not impossible to do, because they did it with Daniel and Armand in the last two seasons. They shared not that much screen time together, and they didn't exchange that many direct lines to one another, but they had more chemistry than, Louis and Armand. If you're going